You ever notice how the smartest people often create the most complicated solutions? I witnessed this just last week. I was sitting in a boardroom with a brilliant executive, Stanford MBA, top of his class, off the charts IQ. He spent 45 minutes walking us through his revolutionary new strategic framework, PowerPoint slides packed with intricate flowcharts, arrows pointing in every direction, technical jargon that would make your head spin. Everybody nodded along, impressed by his intellectual prowess. When he finished, a quiet voice came from the end of the table. It was the company's founder, an 80-year-old who had built the business from scratch. He said, "That's very impressive, but can you explain it again in a single sentence?" The room fell silent. The executive couldn't do it. And right there was the perfect example of a dangerous trap that is killing most people's success. It is called complexity addiction. It is the unconscious belief that complicated equals intelligent, complex equals valuable, intricate equals impressive, and it's dead wrong. The most successful people that I've ever worked with have mastered the art of radical simplicity. But here's what's fascinating. Complexity is a seductive mistress, and she lures in the smartest amongst us. Why? Because complexity gives us three dangerous illusions. Illusion number one, the prestige of complexity. We have been conditioned to associate complexity with intelligence. Think about the last time that you sat through a presentation, one filled with complex ideas and thought, and you thought, wow, this person must be brilliant, even if you didn't understand a word they said, especially if you didn't understand a word they said. We attach prestige to what mystifies us. I've seen this firsthand with consultants who charge millions for strategies so complex they require interpreters to explain. But here's the brutal truth. Creating complexity is easy. Finding simplicity in what's complex, that is what's hard. As Oliver Wendell Holmes said, the easy kind of simple isn't worth much. The kind you reach after wrestling with complexity is priceless. Illusion number two, the safety of complexity. Complexity provides a brilliant hiding place. When you create something complicated, it's much harder for others to criticize it. It's much harder for others to find flaws. It's much harder for others to hold you accountable. I've watched brilliant engineers design systems so complex that only they understood how to maintain them. Job security through obscurity. I've seen executives write 20-page memos that could have been summarized in 3 bullet points. Why? Because if they had written those 3 bullet points, everybody would immediately see that they were right or wrong. Complexity creates a foggy battlefield where victories and defeats are hard to measure. Illusion number 3, the comfort of complexity. This is the most insidious illusion of all. Complexity feels like progress. It feels like accomplishment. It feels like mastery. Have you ever spent all day working on something, adding features, adding layers, adding improvements, only to end up with something worse than when you started? But you felt productive, didn't you? That's the comfort of complexity. It keeps us busy. It keeps us feeling smart. It keeps us safe from the terrifying simplicity of the truth. Now, here's the big question. How do we break free from the complexity addiction? I've studied the world's greatest simplifiers, from Steve Jobs to Warren Buffett, and discovered 3 powerful strategies. You're going to want to write these down. Strategy number 1, the grandmother test. Before finalizing any idea, product, or communication, ask yourself, could I explain this to my grandmother? Not because your grandmother isn't intelligent, but because she doesn't share your specialized knowledge or jargon. Steve Jobs was famous for this. He would repeatedly send Apple engineers back to the drawing board until they could explain complex technology in simple human terms. The result? Products so intuitive that babies can use them. Marketing so clear that it changed an industry. A company that became the most valuable in the world. Strategy number 2, subtract, don't add. When faced with a problem, most people ask, what can I add to make this better? The world's greatest simplifiers ask, what can I remove to make this better? The author of The Little Prince captured this perfectly. Perfection is achieved not when there's nothing more to add, but when there's nothing left to take away. Warren Buffett embodies this philosophy. While other investors use complex algorithms and formulas, he uses simple, timeless principles that fit on an index card. The result? One of the greatest investment track records in all of human history. Strategy number 3, respect your audience. This might be the most important strategy of all. Complexity often stems from a lack of respect for your audience. It assumes that they need to be impressed rather than empowered. It assumes they value intellectual gymnastics over clarity. The truly brilliant communicate in ways that elevate others, not in ways that make themselves try to look smart. Leonardo da Vinci said, "Simplicity is the ultimate sophistication." And he was right. True intelligence isn't about making simple things complicated. It's about making complicated things simple. So here's my challenge to you. Take out your Darren Daily Journal and identify one project that you're currently overcomplicating. Number 2, one communication that you can simplify. And number 3, one process you can streamline by removing steps. Then mercilessly simplify each one this week. Because here's the brutal truth. In a world drowning in complexity, simplicity is the ultimate competitive communication advantage. As Einstein said, if you can't explain it simply, it's because you don't understand it well enough. So share in the comments below, what is one thing in your business or life that you're committed to simplifying this week?